Facebook is back in the headlines. The social media giant today introduced the kids-only version of its chatting app to Canada. Messenger for Kids connects children with family members and friends through text and video chats, and it has special safety features. Parents can use their own Facebook accounts to control the new app. They're able to approve the people their children can be in contact with and even block access to the app at certain times of the day. Also, children can't use the app to upload inappropriate content. There are no ads on the app, and Facebook says data isn't being used for marketing. Social media giant launched Messenger for Kids in the United States last year. Child safety advocates sounded alarm bells about smartphone addiction with young people and the link between depression and social media use. Well, joining us now is David Monahan. He's with Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood. His organization has written letters to Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg calling for the company to discontinue this app, and he joins us this evening from Boston. So thank you for making time for us today, sir. David, can you just begin by clarifying for us what your concerns are about the app?
Well, this app really indoctrinates young children at a young and impressionable age, basically ages 5 to 12, into the habit of using social media, using digital devices, just to have relationships with family and with friends. And it puts Facebook as a middleman into those relationships and those communications. And it also builds brand loyalty for kids at a very young and impressionable age. And that's why Facebook has rolled out this program. But the experts say that digital device use and social media use in adolescence has been linked with depression, with poor sleep habits, with unhealthy body image. So the last thing that 5- and 6-year-olds need is to be getting into that habit at such a very young age. And this platform has persuasive design that encourages kids to get on it and to stay on it for long periods of time.
The argument presented by the other side is that these children are going to be using apps like this anyway. So why not give them a safer platform, one that can be monitored by their children, by an adult or one of their parents. So you're just making the space for them in a way that can be managed in a bit better way. So what's wrong with that?
The argument's not true. 5- and 6-year-olds are not on social media. There is no major platform for 5- or 6-year-olds, or there wasn't until now. As of today, there is one in Canada. And Facebook knows that. Facebook basically has not been doing that well with teenagers, so they're now going for kids even younger. But 5- and 6-year-olds would not be on social media, and a lot of them wouldn't be on devices at all. Studies show that about half of families are struggling with issues about screen time. So parents are trying to get their kids to spend less time on devices and get on devices at a later age. And this is encouraging kids to jump on it even younger. And you know, there are just so many ways that it's not good for kids' development. Kids need to be reading, engaging in creative play, getting outdoors, and having face-to-face interactions. This time just kind of hooked on a device is not only wasted time, it's really bad for their development. If we think about how tricky social media can be for adults and how often the tone can be confused, or, you know, of course there's bullying and there's peer pressure. That's hard enough for teens and adults. Imagine a 5- or 6-year-old who's just learning how to get along with others to be doing that over social media. The experts say it's not good for their development.
Messenger for Kids has already been available in the United States since last year. It's just introduced in Canada today. So have you been able to see any of the data, any of the repercussions of how it's been used in the U.S.?
Natasha, we have not yet. You know, even just on smartphone use, the researchers are really just trying to catch up. Things have exploded so fast in the last few years. And so, no, we don't know of any specific information yet about Messenger Kids. We do know of studies that have been coming out, and there's one we expect to be coming out over the summer about this use of persuasive design and the way bells and whistles and emojis just make kids want to stay on these kind of platforms. They feel like they're successful. You know, they're being kind of lured. They're thinking just like adults, unfortunately. Oh, wait, I heard a bing. Somebody wants to talk to me. It's bad enough when these elements are used with adults. Now they're being used on young kids to get them hooked on these devices. And there are going to be studies coming out showing how persuasive design is hurting young people on apps, but nothing that we know of specifically about Messenger Kids just yet.
How much of the responsibility falls on the parents? Because it seems, at least according to the Facebook marketing, that none of this can happen. You can't be on the platform without parents' permission. You can't be using it without the parents' permission. So is your message to Facebook, or is your message to the parents, don't let your kids get on this app?
Well, my organization, Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood, educates parents and others about the impacts of child-targeted marketing on kids' well-being. And so our message is for parents that, of course, they need to know about the impacts of a platform like this, and they need to consider basically how their child's development is going to be affected. And of course, parents are always the last line of defense, and so many parents are struggling trying to figure out what's right for their kids. But when a company like Facebook is going to parents and saying, hey, this is great for your kids, we won't be advertising to them, then we also need to get our members together and experts in the field, including physicians, psychologists, educators. We're helping to organize that group, and also other advocacy groups, to go to Facebook, and we are pressuring them to say, why are you doing this when parents are already struggling with screen time issues? Why are you trying to make things worse?
David, your organization has sent letters to Facebook. Have you heard a response?
Yes, we have had a response. Basically, we are in some discussions with them. They are certainly not jumping to scrap this app the way that we think that they ought to. And we actually followed up our first letter with a petition. 21,000 people signed a petition saying, Facebook, this is bad for kids, including many Canadians. And we're hoping that they're going to hear the message and they are going to pull the plug on this app.
Okay, we'll wait and see what happens. David Monahan, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
David is the campaign manager with Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood. We reached him in Boston.